Good morning, sports fans. You're in the cheap seats. Scott Kirby, Joe Ryan, Jake Johnston, and we got the coach.
And we're back.
Coach McDonald. He's on with us right now. But first, we've got a trivia question that we're going to ask you to win 2 tickets to Lincoln Speedway. Any race this year, $10 a piece. So that's $20, of prizes that you can win.
Is Coach Mack eligible for this prize?
Well,
we've already had this discussion. It ain't happening.
Okay.
All you have to do is answer this question, and you can win these tickets, and it is hockey related. Name 5 players on the Chicago Blackhawks roster right now. Obviously, they're playing today against the Kings. And just for a bonus question, who scored the game-winning goal against Detroit the other night to advance to the Western Conference Finals?
That was an amazing comeback, though.
Good questions.
So name 5 players on the Blackhawks. Any 5 players, call it in to 737-3791. I guess that's a key. You got to give them the number to call. They can't just,
Half of the equation is where do they call.
And then you'll pick those, the winner will pick those tickets up here at BloNoSmoke. They'll have them up here for you. So call in, answer that, and win you some tickets. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me on.
June 1st, that means, football, believe it or not, right around the corner.
Yes.
Just wanted you to come in and just talk about what upcoming events and stuff that you have planned in the next month and a half, 2 months.
As always, we've got a busy summer. This is real important for the next season, and we start up this Monday with workouts and orientation and testing over at the school, and we've got the first couple of weeks where we've got new players and freshmen that are going to be by themselves and kind of getting them oriented to the weight room and some expectations of the summer workouts, and then we'll have the older guys kind of by themselves for a couple of weeks, and then we'll bring them all together and hopefully have some very hard, dynamic, exciting workouts, kind of building team and toughness and conditioning, and it's just real important for the conditioning of the upcoming season to have those guys there and working hard and doing a lot of lifts and exercises that are going to prepare them for the season.
Well, that's a good thing. It's kind of a, disappointing time of the year for me because obviously my son's not going to be able to play football because of his injury, and I know he wants to, but he's just not able to do it right now. Football, best time of the year. Love football. NFL's right around the season. The season's right around the corner, I should say. So lost probably a good senior class. You got your quarterback back, Cruz, Austin Cruz. So that's a key point. You always want your quarterback to kind of lead the team. Some other kids are going to have to step up. How's the team looking for this upcoming year?
Yeah, but we lost like I said, a very good, strong senior class, and especially in their leadership capabilities, and their attitude and commitment. And we've got a lot of positions to fill both on the field and off the field in workouts and practice and in those leadership capabilities. Austin Cruz, you mentioned him as one that has been doing all the right things. He's been participating in sports, and then here in the spring has been in the weight room, every day that we've had available, and he's being a leader in there and working with other guys and pushing them, and that's a big part of the summer workouts also, is to start getting that, building that trust of each other, being there and working side by side and sweating and probably being mad at me a little bit because I'm pushing them, and we want to push them past their comfort level a little bit so that they're going to be prepared for the season.
Absolutely.
Mac, a lot of times they talk about injuries. I'd kind of like you to reiterate what you talked about the other night at the when we had the parent meeting about how all the hard work paid off as far as everybody being in shape and doing the right things. Last year, the injuries we had on the football field were very minimal. Just talk about it a little bit.
Right, yeah. Football is getting a tough rap right now through the media and the NFL, and so people try to compare, these guys that have been playing football their whole life and as a lifestyle and career, and when they're pressured either by themselves or their team to keep playing when they're injured or have, possible head injuries. And football, at the younger levels and high school levels, and especially nowadays, they're so careful with any type of injuries is extremely safe. I have more fear of my son going out and riding his bike on the street from falling off and hitting his head on the concrete or getting hit by a car or falling out of a tree and stuff like that than I do of him playing football wearing hundreds of dollars worth of safety equipment. We had 9 guys that basically played both ways, almost every play of the game last year, and oftentimes when you get fatigued, that's when the injuries are more susceptible to. And we had one one injury that kept a guy from playing a game last year at the varsity level, out of all the plays playing. And so I think that's a testament to the work these guys put in and being conditioned for the physicalness of the sport. It's a tough sport, it's a physical sport, but they are well protected. That I won't mention specifically other sports, but we've had far less, obviously with that one injury, less injuries than what some girl sports and boys sports at the high school have had this year that are typically non-contact sports.
Right. Well, basketball, you can get a concussion in basketball just as easy as you can in football. Baseball, I mean, the guy from Minnesota, Mauer, first baseman, or was it first baseman? Mauer?
That's Morneau. Yeah.
Morneau. Well, the one that had a concussion and missed almost the whole baseball season. So it's not just football. It's just, and it's the way you play the game. If you the right technique, if you're coached properly, like you said, football's been going on since the end of time. I've played it. These guys have played it, and injuries are going to happen. Yeah. It's just it's going to, but it's a safe sport. You're well. You have the gear on, and it kind of goes over to Lincoln youth football too. Parents are kind of concerned about that. Well, if your kid's going to get hurt, they're going to get hurt. You can't treat them. You can't wrap them in bubble wrap. Right. Get them out there.
I know more kids that got hurt jumping off a bridge than
jumping off a bridge, huh?
You do things when you're a kid, but football, like Coach was saying, you're comparing high school football to the pros and even college. Totally different sports. I mean, it really is. The speed of it's nowhere near the same. So it's a much safer sport.
And even the injury that your son suffered.
That was just a freak thing. That wasn't.
It was really, though, wasn't it contact with the ground?
Yeah.
More so than getting hit or.
He hit the ground wrong. He threw a pass and just kind of got shoved. And when he landed, his leg was twisted and he hit the ground. And last year, completely different this year. The ground was concrete, and now if he fell, he probably would have left a 3-foot indent because of all the rain we've had.
Well, he's not that heavy.
Right. But the ground had a lot to do with that injury. It wasn't like he got drilled and hammered. It's just he fell to the ground and it hit wrong, and just a freak thing. Yeah. And it wasn't, if he was 100% able to play football again, he would. But right now, it hasn't even been a year yet, so he's playing basketball, and so
there you go.
So, Coach, on the schedule right now, you're getting them orientated and hitting the weights and whatnot. What else you got coming up here this summer?
We've got on the 15th, we're going to have a little car wash, kind of as a fundraiser for it, and I think the guys will kind of enjoy.
Are they wearing bikinis?
Now, during this car wash, do they have to push the car around the block and clean it before it gets back to the other
that's part
end?
of it, to make sure the tires get clean, and a little extra workout with it. Then we get into July, where we'll get into actually some football specific type. We've got contact days that we can do in the summer, to where we'll have some what we call some skills and drills practices, and we'll go over just the proper mechanics of tackling and blocking and some of the skill work, and so hopefully these guys can that will become second nature to them when they're making contact, blocking, tackling, and things that they know how to do those things well, and they're more confident at it, and they're going to be safer at it. We'll have a couple of 7-on-7 competitions that we'll participate in, and we get to the end of the summer and we'll have our camp, which is an overnight camp that we did last year for the first year. It's a 2.5-day, 2-night camp that we stay in the dorms out at LCU, and we take the cell phones away. We do a lot of football. We do some fun stuff, and we try to make it very tough and demanding, and a little stressful on them, but yet have some fun. And we felt like the comments we got afterwards last year we accomplished that. The guys bought into it, and it was tough and demanding. They were tired when it was over, but they enjoyed it and look forward to doing it again.
I thought a few of them were going to leave when we lined them up and said, hand in your cell phone.
I was about ready to say, Coach, how many players did you just lose from that one comment?
Now, this year, I think we're going to actually have a room check for cell phones, because they'll be smart if to bring them and hide them this year.
Bring a burner with them.
That's fair. A burner.
Well, and that's something we go into with the leadership. We put them in platoons, and each platoon has a leader, and then he's also kind of responsible for his platoon members, and also it's about building trust of the guys around you, and hopefully that that they're going to believe that they're doing the right thing, and that they're going to be accountable to each other to do the right thing while they're out there.
So you got any like a youth camp coming up as well?
We've got a youth camp in the middle of July, which is the 15th, 16th, and 17th, for incoming youth football players. It's basically grades 2 through 8. And again, we will just do a lot of drills that are going to make them better athletes, even if they decide at some point not to play football. Some speed agility training, which is just so important in just teaching kids how to run and how to change directions. The older group will take in the weight room and just give them a brief introduction to that and give them some ideas of some strength training exercises and some explosive training exercises they can do at home on their own. And then, again, teach them just some basic fundamentals of football. And in the camp, we won't pigeonhole them into positions. If we got a big kid that's always played line, we're going to teach him how to throw a football and run a football and catch a football. You never know how the growing spurt is going to happen. Some are going to grow more, some aren't. Some are going to get faster and work hard. Some won't. So just teach them all to be football players.
Well, that's another thing that we try to tell the kids in youth football. Just because you're playing on the line now doesn't mean you're going to be playing on the line in high school. A perfect example, Connor Schmidt. When he was in youth football, he was one of the bigger, slower kids. He was always on the line. Well, what happens when he gets in high school? He's one of your wing backs running the ball. So it's just something like that these kids are growing. You don't know when they're going to mature, when they're going to hit their growth spurt. So you can't put them in a position when they're younger like that and expect them to be that, position when they go on through high school. So
and speaking of Connor Schmidt, that's a kid that he really worked his tail off.
Right.
Very coachable, a great kid, and got to have a chance to walk on over to Illinois, Coach.
Yeah, that is. I don't think it's official as far as signing the paperwork and all that, but it looks like that's. I think it's safe to say a pretty much should be a done deal that he's going to have a spot to walk on in the fall. And again, just a great testament, and we hope the other kids younger than him see that an example of what you can do and really what he's done just the last 2 or 3 years of just being disciplined in his diet and what he's putting into his body for fuel and his work ethic in the sports that he's participating in football and wrestling, and then his work in the weight room of just going hard and really pushing himself towards excellence, and it's paying off for him.
Good deal.
And Akita, again, we all know it, but being coachable, that's a big deal. Sure. Connor's very coachable.
Yeah.
Coach Mack, I'd like to throw one thing at you while you're down there thinking.
Oh no.
But coming into this season, we lost a lot of the guys up front. A lot of times the line doesn't get a lot of kudos, and I was just going to have him say something about that line that we lost, and that's what we have to replace. We've got some skilled kids coming back.
You had a big line. Mm-hmm. You got, Spike, he's going over, he's playing at Milliken, right?
He's going to Milliken, yeah. Riley Reed is going to Quincy University, a D2 school. Anthony Cannon, who was not a lineman, so I'm getting off your question a little bit.
But he could have been.
Yeah,
could have been. Hear that, Tank?
Yeah. He could have been a good nose guard.
Anthony's going to Illinois College to play over there, and then Dane Eimer is going to Illinois Benedictine. So we got five guys out of that senior group that are going on to play college football, and so that's really exciting for them and for our program.
Again, all coachable kids.
Great attitude, every one of them.
That's why they became better, because they listened and did the right things.
Well, yeah, and that's a testament to the Lincoln football program. Having 5 kids just go on and play football somewhere else, years past, you didn't really see that. Maybe 1 kid, maybe 2, but that's a pretty big accomplishment for your program, and hopefully younger kids see that and be like, hey, I can move on and play football, and so this program's going somewhere.
Yeah,
so
we hope so, and it's probably a greater testament to their families and just their upbringing and pushing them towards doing the right things and having the right attitude.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming in. I'm sure your boy plays baseball, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Is baseball today?
No, they canceled it early, I think, because of the threat of the weather and all that.
Rain. Have you guys played a game yet this year?
Oh, yeah. We played quite a few. He's in the 10 under, and they're probably played over 15, I think.
Oh, wow.
Does Coach Matt get anything from the prize girl for being on? Does Coach Matt get a prize for being on?
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for coming in. We'll have you back on maybe, later in the summer once football gets closer. See how things are going, and
we're having Tank Top Saturday. Maybe we'll invite you to that.
All right.
Tank Top Saturday.
Sounds good.
All right, Coach. Thanks for coming in. Do we not have a caller yet? A winner? We're gonna have to change the question.
I'm telling you.
Or nobody's listening. Are we
color is
online?
George
Test.
Washington's
Xamus must be busy today, and Coach Mack's already admitted he ain't watching no hockey.
Well, we may have to change that question. Once again, the question is name 5 players on the Chicago Blackhawks team. Guys, you have a computer, Google it. Go to chicagoblackhawks.com or 2 free tickets to go racing. They're going to race this year sometime. I guarantee it.
Question.
All right, well, let's take a break. Hopefully somebody's going to call in. If not, we'll have to change the question or just give these things away.
The question.
Change the question. All right, stay tuned. You're in the cheap seats. 96.3 WLCNonline.com.